So after making that video, someone brought to my attention of how to actually reach the Codex. Honestly, I thought it'd be in the main menu, but no, it's all the way at the bottom of the settings to the right. So here it is. We got Codex for generals, notables, which is V, and a good chunk of units, but I don't think that's all of them, is it? It actually might be. Hang on, is it? I feel like it's missing something. That actually might be showing off all of the current units in the game. Okay. Okay, let's read through these. Believe in the way of the bow, mastering range combat with precision and discipline. They often group in large numbers, unleashing devastating volleys of arrows to rain death upon their enemies. The Arshan nation was originally an independent faction founded by Grand Bowmaster Archus. However, they were defeated in battle during the First Great War of Order and later absorbed into the Order Empire. Archus led the Archons until the trials of superiority, where he was defeated by Kaichu in a grueling competition that tested both combat prowess and archery skill. With this victory, Kaichu succeeded Archus as leader of the Archons. A specialized variant known as Casual Archons serve as base defenders, chosen for their superior range and power. They are known for inflicting heavy damage on enemies who dare approach their stronghold. Sounds about right. Oh, these are in alphabetical order too. Okay. Bombers are part of the Chaos Empire. They attack by running towards enemies and detonating their bomb-infused hands. Bombers generally reside in the northern woods. Their bomber base is located in the heart of the northern woods. Behemoth bombers are a unique class of bomber. These bombers are much larger, and their normal counterparts have significantly more health. No info on how those are made. Okay. Crawlers are small, nimble creatures of the Chaos Empire, known as the fastest beings in Immorta. Using their 4 agile limbs, they scurry at incredible speeds, leaping onto enemies and slashing with razor-sharp claws. Crawlers reside in the northeast, where they have built the Crawler's Den, a hidden network of tunnels and nests deep within their territory. Don't know if you can really add anything else onto that. Deads. Deads are reanimated warriors of the Chaos Empire, serving under their leader Marukai. These slow, zombie-like creatures attack their enemies with relentless bites, infecting and tearing through their foes. Though individually weak, Deads become formidable in large numbers, overwhelming enemies through sheer persistence and numbers, turning the tide of battle through endless waves of undead aggression. Whatever any of these are going to mention Medusa. Well, one way to find out. Eclipse are bat-like creatures of Chaos Empire, specialized in aerial combat. They soar through the skies, raining arrows upon their enemies, making them a deadly force against airborne foes. Why only airborne, though? I feel like they'd be a more deadly force against ground melee units. Yeah, whatever. Oh, wait, there's the factions button. Cool. Eclipsers primarily inhabit the northwest, where they established the Eclipser base, a stronghold from which they launched their attacks. Their graceful flight combat tactics served as the inspiration for Acheron's Albatross flying machine, which we haven't seen in game yet. Oh, cool, it tells you about abilities. Enslaved giants are the largest units in the Order Empire, forced into servitude after being captured in battle. Chained and heavily burdened, they are trained to hurl massive boulders, turning the raw strength into a devastating siege weapon. Once proud warriors in no man's land, these giants now serve against their will, their power repurposed for the Order Empire's war efforts. Then you got the catapult ability. It doesn't say that it takes extra damage while it's in the catapult, which I feel like is something that you should really know. Enslaved miner. Slave miners are the economic backbone of the Chaos Empire, forced to mine golden crystal under harsh conditions. The Chaos Empire captures Order miners who stray behind their borders, putting them to work in the mines of Immorta. Oh, that's a lot of stuff for giants. Giants are the largest units in the Chaos Empire, towering over the battlefield and wielding massive clubs to crush their enemies. In combat, they brutally hurl foes over their shoulders, using them as weapons before slamming them into the ground. Their sheer strength allows them to stomp the earth with devastating force, sending shockwaves that knock enemies off their feet. Originally from no man's land, the giants fought fiercely but were defeated during the Order Empire's southern campaign. After their loss, King Xerxes captured several giants, forcing them into servitude. While enslaved, they are fitted with... Yeah, okay, now it's just telling us about enslaved giants at this bottom part. Juggernaut. Juggernauts are elite warriors of the Chaos Empire, serving as its answer to the spirits. In battle, they block enemy attacks with their massive shields. Block? I don't know about blocking. Swing brutal axes and charge forward to knock enemies off their feet. Unlike ordinary deads, Juggernauts are elder deads. Elder deads? That's a new one. Those who have served longer, their status marked by their lack of skin. Oh. That might explain why rune of reanimation doesn't work on them. Their fearsome armor, crafted by Petra. I can't say I expected that. Enhances their resilience, while their combat skills are honed under the rigorous training of the Kai. And it tells about the charge ability. Let's say it's limited to hitting 3 light units. Magic Kill. Magic Kill are powerful spellcasters within the Order Empire, wielding fulminate magic to obliterate enemies and summon minions to do their bidding. They follow the way of the mage, a doctrine that guides their mastery of arcane warfare. The Magical Nation was originally an independent faction founded by mages. They were later absorbed into the Order Empire after their defeat in the First Great War of Order. Magus remained the Magic Kill leader until the Trial of Superiority, after which he deserted the Order Empire and founded the Archaic Revolt. Many Magic Kill followed him, leaving the Empire to join his cause. Why did he leave after Trial of Superiority? It doesn't even say he got replaced. Alright, Mercs. Mercs are healing spellcasters within the Order Empire, supporting their allies in battle by restoring health and creating protective shields. The Mercs were originally founded by and led by Mara, but after her defeat in the Trial of Superiority, she was succeeded by Thera. Following Mara's departure from the Order Empire, many Mercs chose to follow her, forming the Vampire Solar Stealers. He doesn't mention the Bewitch ability, but it's probably going to be related to Mara. And then Miners, shortest description by far. Miners are essential to any battle, providing gold and crystal resources needed to train and sustain an army. Rip Riders are rebel warriors who have primarily inhabit the canyons of Inamorta. They have mastered the art of riding Riptors, using their speed to rush into battle to strike enemies with their scythes. Looks more like a twin blade if you ask me, but whatever. Beyond their combat prowess, Rip Riders act as gatekeepers, controlling the passage through heavily guarded canyons and demanding a toll from those who seek safe passage. Slight color change. Alright, Riptors. Scientific names for Riptana. I was not expecting a scientific name. Riptonatostrathios are territorial creatures that dwell in the swamps of Inamorta. Highly aggressive towards intruders, they instinctively attack anything that gets too close to them. However, they can form bonds with warriors and be trained for battle, making them powerful assets in combat. Atreus' pet Clicky is one of this species. As we've seen before. Ooh, a lot for Shadow Wrath too. Doesn't mention their fixate. Shadow Wrath are powerful light units in the Order Empire. They trained as elite assassins. They are handpicked from the best Sword Wrath warriors by their leader Shade. Originally formed in secret, the Shadow Wrath were created to combat the Majestic Mafia, whose influence had tightened its grip on the cities of Inamorta. Later, Shade gifted to Shadow Wrath King Zarek. As a defensive force during the Second Great War. In battle, Second Great War? Gifted? That's not how I remember it, but alright. In battle, the Shadow Wrath strike with blinding speed, sprinting toward enemies before delivering their deadly blows with their battle staffs. Their advanced training allows them to parry incoming attacks, using their precise counter movements to deflect strikes before retaliating. And tells about the parry. Sickle-Wrath are rebel warriors founded by Chief Sicklebear. Once Sybil farmers, they too up arms with Chief Sicklebear, fearing attacks from the Order Empire, trained them to fight with their curved iron blades, which could strike multiple enemies at once. Originally, the Sickle-Wrath were only warriors of the Sickle-Wrath tribe, but under Sicklebear's leadership, a lot of sickles. The tribe expanded into the greater United Tribes. Despite its growth, the Sickle-Wrath still rides in the plains of Inamorta, preserving their traditions of warrior spirit. Honestly, a missed opportunity with United Tribes in the campaigns that they don't wear the savage skin. Followers of the Way of the Spear, the Speartons are rigorously trained elite warriors. Their armor and tenacity made them formidable defenders, capable of holding the line against overwhelming odds. Once an independent nation, the Spirit Nation was absorbed into the Order Empire during King Zarek's campaign against Chaos. Their leader, Spiros, rose to become one of Zarek's most trusted generals until he was supplanted first by Anakai, then Atreus. I almost missed the other two. The Sword Wrath followed the way of the sword, dedicating their lives to mastering melee combat. Once an independent nation, the Sword Wrath Nation was founded by General Rathnar and later absorbed into the Order Empire after being defeated in the First Great Order. Rathnar remained the leader of the Sword Wrath until the Trials of Superiority. However, after witnessing the other leaders replaced by the royal siblings, he chose to desert the Order Empire. His successor, Zevos, now leads the Sword Wrath. Oh, there's not even an icon for these guys. The Toxic Deads are a unit within Chaos Empire, a specialized variant of Deads that fight from range. Instead of melee combat, they attack by hurling their own toxic guts as projectiles, spreading deadly corruption across the battlefield. Those within the exceptional range and power are often chosen. Exceptional range and power. That's a funny one. Often chosen to guard the. Oh, they're talking about Castle Deads. Alright, that makes more sense. So we have crucial line of defense against enemy attacks. And now we're on the generals. Clicky said general? No, sure. Archus is the founder of the Archons and the founder and leader of the Woodland Oh. Oh, wait, those little blue things are links. Damn, these other ones are links. No, none of the other ones. Oh. Alright, that just leads Arches. Alright. And the founder and leader of the Woodland Tribes, which if I click on the blue link, not found. He left the Order Empire, not found. Alright, I should... If it's not here, then it's likely not going to show up. Right. He left the Order Empire after losing to Kaichu in competition during the Trial of Superiority. Despite losing his left eye, Arches remains a master of archer. In battle, he uses roll and tethering techniques to immobilize enemies. During the Order campaign, Arches sought to revenge against Kaichu for his... Excuse me, I just sneezed. For his past defeat, but the Order Empire prevailed, capturing and imprisoning him. Then it tells about the abilities. Is that how you spell tether? I think I've been spelling it wrong all this whole time. Alright, Atreus. Atreus is the current leader of the Spiritans and the youngest of the royal siblings. He took command after Atakai was killed in battle. Atreus shares a lifelong bond with his Riptor pet, Clicky, whom he can summon in battle. During the Age of Legacy, Atreus was ambushed by Deads while traveling through the northern woods. He and his Order soldiers endured countless nights to fight off endless attacks. Endless Deads callback, so it is canon. Maybe? I'm assuming it is. As Medusa appearing for years following Gargos' death. Oh, there's the Medusa mention. Atreus returned to aid in the war against the vampiric soul stealers. Aid against the vampirics? He wasn't even there in the campaign until the final part. What do you mean? No, whatever. Later, he helped defeat Rafnar and Lunaclops, but if I click on either of those, it's likely going to be not found. Oh, I can't click on those. Alright, but remain disloyal to the Zilleros. Clicky is Atreus' Riptor pet, named for his cute clicking sounds, but he has large blue eyes and an affectionate nature. As a child, Atreus discovered Clicky shortly after sneaking into the forest. He would sneak him home in his bag, and if you feed him figs, Clicky's favorite food. Their bond remains unbreakable, and in battle, Atreus can call upon Clicky for aid, and will even bring him back to the garrison if wounded. King Xeric. A whole lot of stuff. Alright, hang on, I need some water for this. Okay. King Xeric, alongside his brother Zilleros, founded the Order Empire. Under his leadership, the once small tribe expanded, incorporating the Sordath, Archon, Spearns, Magical, and the Giants. He was married to Queen Iris, who passed away giving birth to Atreus and Atakai. During the Age of Order, Xeric became frustrated as members of the Order Empire abandoned their ranks to return to their homelands. Determined to restore the Empire's former glory, he launched a campaign to crush the rebels. However, as the conflict escalated, the rebels and Order Empire united against a greater enemy, Chaos. This alliance led to the final confrontation against Gargos, ending in Xeric's victory and the cementing of the Age of Order. After defeating Gargos, Xeric and Zilleros obtained the treasure map from the Elementals in exchange for their freedom. However, an ambush by Marokai left them with only a third of it. This map led Xeric to launch the Order campaign, seeking powerful treasures to further strengthen the Empire. In 678, Xeric's army was overrun by Deads, and he was captured by Marokai, imprisoned, and interrogated. He was succeeded a year later by Shade in 679. Once a proud and commanding ruler, Xeric has since struggled to reclaim his former presence, forever changed by his time in captivity. They got all of his abilities. And on to Kaichu. The eldest of the royal siblings leads the Archidon. She claimed leadership after defeating Arches in the Trial of Superiority by splitting his bullseye arrow with a no-look shot. During the Order campaign, Kaichu led Order forces against the Woodland tribes, securing the northern woods for safe passage. Kaichu's unparalleled archery skills allow her to fire multiple arrows simultaneously and command Archons to focus their shots on marked targets. And now Lavish, who doesn't even have an icon yet. It's Alpha, what do you expect? King Xeric has given Lavish significant influence over the Order Empire, mainly due to threats by Lavish to raise taxes on Order Empire cities. Lavish, king of miners and leader of the Majestic Mafia, is the wealthiest in Inamorta. His control of the Majestic mine secures his immense fortune and power. Beyond his wealth, Lavish wields significant influence over other factions. His dealings with Xeric have granted him leverage over the Order Empire, using the threat of tax hikes on its cities to exert his will. Doesn't he talk about his ability to call in extra miners to attack? And now Magus. Magus is the founder of Magikill and the founder and leader of the Voltaic Revolt. In 671, he allied with Sicklebear and the United Tribes to defend against the potential Order Empire attack. Despite his efforts, their efforts, the alliance was failed, and Magus was captured after their defeat. Magus wields powerful voltaic abilities in battle, along with summoning minions. He can conjure lightning storms and generate an electric field that suspends enemies midair. Marokai. Nearly the same amount of stuff as Zarek. Okay. Marokai, also known as Kai, ruled alongside Gargos for years. After Gargos was decapitated, ending the Second Great War of Inamorta, the duties of leadership may now fall upon Kai. In 671, he ambushed King Zarek and Zilros as they retrieved a treasure map of the elementals at Gargos' keep. However, due to an elemental attack, he escaped with only a third of the map. Oh right, because their Scorch explosion split the map. During the Order campaign, Marokai uses Deads to overwhelm King Zarek's army and capture him. However, in 679, Jade rescued Zarek after the Order Empire orchestrated a diversion to mislead Marokai. On the battlefield, Marokai wields his chaos powers to devastate his enemies. He can summon Deads, use his ability Drive Foes Mad, and unleash Hellfist, causing skeletal hands to erupt from the ground to strike his enemies. Then his abilities down here. Sicklebear. Sicklebear is the founder and leader of the United Tribes, a faction formed by uniting the natives of the peoples of the land. Originally leader of the Sickle-Wrath, he expanded his influence by bringing together scattered tribes to stand against outside threats. And then it just tells about the level where he allied with Magus. Though not fully defeated, Sicklebear retreated with his warriors and continued to strengthen the United Tribes. Seeking revenge, he launched an attack on the Order Empire in 679, but the assault failed and he was defeated once again. Was it really an assault? I feel like we were attacking him. Alright. Spiros is the founder of the Spartans and the founder and leader of the Glacial Uprising. He left the Order Empire after being defeated by Alakai in the Trial of Superiority and growing frustrated with this King Zarek's military reforms. After his departure, he discovered ancient glacial powers. Despite his age, Spiros remains a formidable warrior, blending his spirit in combat and expertise with his newfound glacial abilities. His powers allow him to create ice paths and freeze opponents in battle. I just realized Mara is not on this list. Alright, a lot of stuff too. There is the leader of the Merrics and the second of the oldest royal siblings. She chose to help leadership after defeating Mara. No, she rose to leadership after defeating Mara in the Trial of Superiority. During the Order campaign, which began in 671, Thera and her army aided the Order Empire in battles against the Voltaic Revolt, Glacial Uprisings, and the Vampiric Soul Stealers. After these battles, she learned about the elemental powers of the rebel factions from Spiros and discovered King Zarek's location from Mara. Thera possesses powerful seer abilities, allowing her to visualize the battlefield with incredible precision. Her Merric powers enabled her to create healing wards, while her seer abilities grant her flight and the power to generate protective shields. With a 5 foretold, she can even predict and prevent death, altering the course of battle before it unfolds. Outside of battle, Thera shares a close bond with Atreus and dedicates her time to healing the wounded and training future Merrics at the Medicis, the Grand Hospital of the Order Empire. It'd be cool if the Medicis looked like the Merrick building, or whatever that building is from Stick War 2. Rathaus is the founder of the Swordath and the founder and leader of the Borderland Flame Feeders. He lost leadership of the Swordath after being defeated by Zelos in the Trial of Superiority. After forming the Borderland Flame Feeders, Rathaus discovered the existence of a powerful monster known as the Leuclops. He made it the Flame Feeders' mission to protect and warn from this creature. However, during a battle between the Flame Feeders and the Order Empire, the Leuclops was unleashed. Rathaus remains a formidable Swordath while also with powerful flame abilities. In battle, he could slam down on enemies and drive his sword into the ground to trigger a lava earthquake, but the ability is called Lava Quake. Zephos is the leader of the Swordath and why is this so much? One of the royal siblings, he claimed leadership after defeating Rathar in the Trial of Superiority. Wait, but I thought he left, didn't he? I just wanted he left instead of getting defeated. Whatever. Following Rathar's departure from the Order Empire. During the Order campaign, which began in 671, Zephos' army aided the Order Empire. Yeah, now it's just talking about him helping him against the factions. Blessed with the strength of the gods. That's a new one. Blessed with the strength of the gods, Zephos is unmatched in raw power. In battle, he can execute a heroic leap, dealing damage where he lands. He can also inspire light units to enter a rage, increasing their combat effectiveness. I hope we get to see how in the world he got blessed with the strength of the gods. Alright, Zilros, who shares Zarek's image. Wait a minute. No, it is different. Alright, this is just placeholder stuff then. Zeros is the twin brother of King Zarek and the leader of the Magical and Order Empire. Before rising to power, he is merely a stage magician, performing tricks in a broken down, run down bar, a far cry from the grand magic he would later wield. Clever and ambitious, it was Zeros who convinced Zarek to begin his campaign to unite the warring kingdoms and forge the Order Empire. From humble beginnings, the brothers built their power together. Through the Order campaign, which began in 671, Zeros aided Zarek in acquiring hidden magic and lost treasures, following the guidance of a mysterious map. Yet Zeros' ambition only grew. He began to question his brother's judgment and secretly issued orders of his own. When Zarek was captured by Marokai, Zeros assumed control of the Order Empire and soon became reluctant to give it back, which we all saw in the campaign. And now finally we have V. V is an ancient and mysterious being believed by legend to be the creator of Enamorta, and perhaps the universe itself. Eons ago, he woke in the endless void and, stricken with loneliness, began to fill it with stars, planets, and eventually life. First, he created the earth and water elementals to inhabit the chosen... Is this just the... No, this isn't... I feel like this is the poem. Yeah, this is just the poem. Alright, well, elementals to inhabit his chosen world in Morta, but when their endless warring angered him, he forged the fire elementals to intervene and finally the air elementals to restore balance. Yet peace never truly lasted. His creations became increasingly unruly. Waging endless wars, V made a fateful decision to abandon his godly power and leave the world in mortal hands. To combat the chaos and restore balance, he created the Order Empire, an empire forged not to flourish, but to being disciplined and controlled to Immorta. Whew. His final act was the creation of a magical flower, a sacred gift that would empower the Order Empire in its eternal struggle against disorder. That's a lot of reading. Cards. Oh. These don't have any lore ties yet from the looks of it. They just seem to be descriptions of how they work. Which I'm glad, because that means I don't have to do a bunch more reading. As unless factions has anything to do with it. All factions do indeed have something tied to it. Oh boy. The Order Empire is one of the three great empires of Immorta, ruled by King Zarek with the support of his royal children and his brothers Zeros. Originally a peaceful city of tradesmen, farmers, and blacksmiths, the empire rose to conquest after Zarek assimilated the Archdons into its ranks, marking the beginning of his campaign unifying Immorta. Over time, the empire expanded, assimilating the Sordath. Wait, but didn't he read? No, it's Archdons, okay. Assimilating the Sordath, Spirits, Magical, Albatross, Shadowwrath, and enslaved giants. We still have yet to see these two in the campaign. Well, we've seen Shadowwrath, but only like once. The Order Empire sees itself as a force of peace, but the nations it conquers may not see it that way. Believing that a preemptive strike is the only way to avoid defeat, the Empire wages the war to secure its rule and eliminate potential threats before they rise against it. Ever wary of the growing Chaos Empire, the Order Empire is determined to hold its position as an Immorta's dominant power. Dominant power, not dormant. Playing too much Elden Ring Night Raid. Alright, Chaos Empire was originally founded by Gargos, a Medusa Alright, who united the creatures of Immorta long ago to fight off elemental threats. After that Great War, she ruled unchallenged for so long that she allowed the sub-factions to disband, each forming their own independent nations once again. Only after the Order Empire began expanding uncontrollably did Gargos, with the help of Marokai, decide to reunite the factions for what she hoped would be a final battle. However, for her, it would be her last. While the Order Empire views Chaos as an army of evil, the Chaos Empire sees itself as a refuge, a coalition of beings who banded together to strive against the ever-expanding Order. The Empire is composed of diverse creatures, each with its own strongholds across the northern Immorta. These sub-factions include all of these: Deads, Talks, Deads, Bombers, Eclipsers, Crawlers, Juggernauts, Giants. Yeah, all these fellas. And, I feel like I'm missing something from here. I'm probably thinking of Marokai, because in Stick War 2 you could train multiple of them at once. Of course, in Stick War Saga we only have the general. Alright, Elementals. V, the first being woke from eternal loneliness. Yeah, this is mostly the same. Although this last part is different. The Elementals once united to fight against the Chaos Empire, but they were ultimately defeated. Many fled to unknown lands, while others were imprisoned by Gargos. Before disappearing, they scattered their elemental magic across Immorta, hiding it on a map so that Chaos would never wield its power, which likely led to the different nations and factions, like Borland Flame Feeders. The Flame Feeders are a Ripple tribe founded by Rafnar, the original leader of the Sordath. After deserting the Order Empire, Rafnar led a group of loyal Sordath westward towards the volcanic region of Immorta. They eventually settled in the southwest, expanding their ranks to include devout Archonauts and Spiritans. In the volcanic lands, Rathar discovered ancient elemental fire powers, forever changing the fate of his people. After settling in the west, the Flame Feeders uncovered a mysterious ancient giant, a being of immense power and unknown origins. Fearing its potential to destroy an immortal, they dedicated themselves to keeping it hidden and contained, ensuring that neither the world nor the giant itself would awaken to its terrible fate. The Flame Feeders see themselves as an immortal's true protectors, violently repelling any who dare trespass into their lands. With unstoppable lava magic, they have become one of the strongest factions in Immorta, a force no army should challenge lightly. Glacial Uprising is a rebel faction founded by Spiros, former leader of the Spiritans. After losing to Adakai in the Trial of Superiority and the clashing with King Zerk over the future of the Order Empire, Spiros left, and many loyal Spiritans who followed him in search of the old ways, but what they were led to was something magical. Upon leaving the Order Empire, Spiros discovered ancient glacial powers, granting his warriors the ability to unleash magic that slows their enemies. Mafia. The majestic Mafia is formed and is led by Lavish, the godfather of gold. The richest person in Immorta, from the shadows, he polices that controls the underground and streets of the Order Empire cities, ensuring that no deal is made without his approval. To maintain his dominance, Lavish keeps his taxes higher than King Zerk's, ensuring that Zerk can never surpass him in wealth. His Mafia enforcers are tough, hardened thugs shaped by years of his brutal labor in Lavish's mines. More than just miners, they are loyal enforcers of his will, ensuring that his debts are paid and power remains in his hands. However, not all battles are fought in the open. The Majestic Mafia's greatest foes are the Shadow Wrath, an unofficial ally of the Order Empire. These silent assassins fight in the dark corners of cities, keeping the Mafia on edge, striking where they least expected. Which would explain that Shade animatic. United Tribes are a nomadic rebel faction founded by Sicklebear. He united the Sicklebear with other plain-dwelling tribes, forging a coalition of warriors seeking freedom from the Order Empire's rule. They are known for ambushing traveling armies, making the plains of Immorta a dangerous region to cross. Well, we've seen that in the Voltaic section of campaign. United Tribes have an allegiance with the Voltaic Revolt, formed out of a shared need for survival against the Order Empire's expanding forces. And now, of course, Vampiric Soul Stealers with a whole lot of stuff on it too. The Vampiric Soul Stealers are a faction of fallen Mercs who abandoned their oaths to heal and embrace the dark arts. They forged twisted pacts with Marokai, the Mage Lord of the Chaos Empire, in exchange for forbidden knowledge and power. Their warriors wield life-draining magic, while their sorcerers can cast bewitching spells that turn foes against each other. Yep, there's the bewitching mention. Their leader Mara lost to Thera in the Trial of Superiority, and her pride and betrayal led her down a path of madness and vengeance. Mara's descent began when she discovered artifacts of dark power. Seeking greater strength, she bargained with Chaos, offering her knowledge and magic in exchange for power. Now, with the armies of Chaos at their side, the Vampiric Soul Stealers are deceitful, ruthless foes driven by their unrelenting thirst for vengeance against the king. A rebel faction that broke away from the Order Empire, the Voltaic Revolt was founded by Magus, former leader of the Magic Guild. Dissatisfied with being overshadowed by the royal mage Zilros, Magus gathered a small band of loyal warriors and apprentice mages forming his revolt. They were led to a long-lost elemental power, one that promised the strength needed to stand against the Order. Few in number, and with word of their rebellion reaching the king, Voltaic Revolt needed allies. A strategic alliance with the tribal leader Sicklebear would soon prove mutually beneficial. Some say Sicklebear's ability to harness the power of a bear was a spell gifted by Magus as a reward for answering his call. That's a pretty cool way to find out. Arch's former Archon, General of the Order Empire, was defeated and replaced by General Kaiju. Leaving the Empire in disgrace, he took only his most trusted lieutenants and set out to forge a new path. Like other exiled leaders before him, he was led to ancient powers. As founder of the Archonauts, many still loyal to him followed in his footsteps. From them, he created the Woodland Tribes, uniting scattered outcasts and warriors into a cohesive force. The northern forests of Immorta soon became impassable, guarded by Archis' elite Archonauts, whose mastery of ranged combat made traveling through their domain a death sentence. And that's all we have for now, because we still don't have locations, history, book, or strategy yet in the Codex.